All right. Hello, Gemini. How's everybody doing? I hope that you're getting off to a great day or great evening, depending on where you're at. It's really great to see everybody today. Been busy here this morning getting all of your channel messages arranged, so thank you for giving me a couple of extra moments here to get set up. Apollo's napping in the other room, and I'm sure he'll come out, so when he does, I'll let him say hi. But in the meantime, we have a lot to talk about, so that's a great way for us just to get into it today. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus for the sign of Gemini. A reminder that everybody's always welcome to come to the beginning portion of all of my readings. There's Apollo. Because the way that I set this up is that it's basically for everyone that needs to get it. Come here, buddy. Want to say hi to the group? So while I'm holding up this cutie pie here, I'm going to go through some different ways that you can connect with me. First of all, everything that you see right here, this is going to be the format. We're going to take a look at channeled messages first, and then we'll take a look at the Celtic Cross, the expanded forecast, big idea, blessings and blocks, and then we go into the viewer's choice. I always like to end with one question, so I don't take those live, but you can meditate on it, and at the very end, I'll answer that question. If you'd like to get some extra reminders, right where Apollo's face is, you can follow me on social media. It's pretty much my name on just about every platform, so feel free to give me a follow there. I know that the notifications don't always work here on YouTube. That's kind of just the way it is, but if you'd like to make sure that you have a chance to get that notification, subscribe and opt into the bell. The bell is actually the secret sometimes for getting the notifications. That's free and it definitely helps out the channel. I know, buddy, welcome. I'm going to put down Sleeping Beauty here and we're going to get started. And one last thing, by the way, if you ever need some information on what my schedule looks like, I've actually pinned a link to that. There's always information on my website. Okay, so that is the intro here. By the way, if you also want to show some support, I'm currently looking at getting some new tarot decks, so I always take what I get here and reinvest it back into the channel. So I've put a community post up. If you scroll down a few, you can suggest some decks. I've already purchased a couple. I'll try to get a few more just to put it into rotation. And today I've actually selected a few that I haven't used before. I'll either just go for one of them. I think I might do like the Wizard's Tarot, or I'll put it up for a vote today. All right, let's move into the first portion here. So channeled messages, if you're brand new, let me just talk a little bit about how the channeled messages come to me. I do a lot of dream interpretation, and if you're kind of new at developing your own intuitive skills, that's a great way for you to basically tap into your own potential. I was talking with a friend the other night and they were talking about how they all actually saw something happen before it happened. And even if you're not a trained intuitive, most of us have those sort of precognitive dreams. So a big portion of mine comes through dreams, but I also then get additional messages through meditations and the research that I'm doing. And there's Apollo digging. I actually get comments all the time, he needs a blanket. He has a blanket. He likes to dig in his beds. If you have a terrier breed, that's what they like to do. All right, let me get my picture-in-picture set up. And we're going to talk about your spirit totems today and your messages for today as well. All right, just a moment here. Let me just clear off everything in the background so you can see this nicely. And let's do the picture-in-picture. Okay, so your main channeled message, or I would say your main spirit totem today is the Octopus. And then it brings about a couple of sort of like sub-bullets here, which would be unplugging mentally, energetic cord cutting, and I would also say making sure that you prioritize things. Hey, buddy, what you doing back there, huh? All right, so let's go into your first slide here, which is about the octopus. To me, it's a very auspicious symbol. Not only is it among the most intelligent animals that you're going to find in the ocean, I think it's a mollusk or something, but it basically has this ability to symbolize action, movement, multitasking, and all the possibilities. I would associate this obviously with the Eight of Wands because it has the 8 different arms. The thing that's kind of interesting when you look at the Eight of Wands is all of those different wands are kind of like rockets going through the air, right? So there's a lot of energy and a lot of things happening at once. Your main focus or your main opportunity is how can I stay on top of all of this? And I like to remind folks sometimes that with the Eight of Wands that we forget that there are other people there that are kind of like throwing those in our direction, or that we're kind of navigating around the Eight of Wands. So for you, you don't have to keep everything moving. You just have to make sure that you're kind of not getting lost in the shuffle, and two, maybe leading in such a way that you can delegate, that you can check in on things. You don't have to manually touch each and every project and each and everything. You just sort of have to be the leader. So leadership is a piece of this as well. All right. Basically, two different cards came through when I thought about the octopus. So this is kind of how I work with my spirit totems. They're very much ascribed or associated with other things energetically. So in this case, tarot cards. The Two of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles bring two very different energies toward us. One of those energies is making a choice, basically, and understanding that we're kind of like a rubber band. You can sometimes be stretched so far that it can kind of help you lose your focus, and you're just feeling like you're energetically worn out or tired. Okay, so if you're juggling a lot of priorities at once, what I want you to try to do is lean into your intelligence and your creativity. It's going to help you with your problem solving. You want to work a lot more intelligently, smarter, not harder. Extending yourself in way too many directions is the only thing that could bring you into a potential downfall. So delegate and avoid the Two of Pentacles, which is basically overextending, overpromising, underdelivering. Do instead the Six of Pentacles, and we can see the person right there kind of giving out that extra bit of energy to the people that they think are really going to receive it and reciprocate it and appreciate it. So you don't have to say yes to everybody. Doing so actually usually just makes you feel tired, usually will also tap you out so that when it is your turn or your time to really step up to the plate and do what needs to be done, that you're not going to have that extra sort of push. And a lot of times we'll compare this to a long distance runner. They can't put it all out in the first mile. They're going to have to really pace themselves and save something for the final piece. Okay? So prioritization and delegation are key. We have the little juggler there in the corner reminding you that you can do both. Speaking of helping this little guy multitask, I do have a blanket here. Let's see if this helps you, buddy. All right. So there we go. Much better. Focus on the next piece, which I think is really key. Don't underestimate your potential reach. The universe is actually here to help you expand. So all of this waiting and saving things is really important, because when it comes to really what this month is bringing forth for you, it's all about expansion. So this is opening you up to the World card, which means you're right on that precipice of ending something, finishing something up. So try to think bigger. Try not to limit yourself to the old ways. And sometimes this is hard because if you work for a company, or if you work with someone, or if it's your partner, maybe in marriage, and they're just dead set, this is the only way that we can do it. Sometimes you might have to just try it and show them that it can be done another way, or show them another example of someone else doing it successfully. Those limiting thoughts, those limiting feelings are oftentimes self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling. And so when you think it can only be done this way, or if I do this, I will fail, then you're not really giving yourself the chance that you need to succeed and to expand. Reach out and ask for help. You're probably wondering, why did I connect to the World card? Because of the outreach, because of the ability for an octopus to kind of it's almost like one of those deities, the multi-armed deities that can do many things at once. You could surprise yourself with how far you can reach and how much you can do at once when you realize you don't have to do every single thing. Again, leadership is the key thing here, not participation in every little thing. For those of you that have had good and bad bosses, or good and bad parents, or you've worked for someone or mentored under someone, you know the difference between micromanagement, which means that the person has to have a rubber stamp for every little thing that you do and approve it, versus someone who empowers you and even expects you to be able to manage and just say, all right, I need this, this, and this done. I'm going to assume that you can do it and you know what you need. And if you don't, come to me and I'll help you. But if you, basically they assume the best until proven otherwise. And it's kind of a nice way to encourage children and other people in your life to just be their best. And then if they don't succeed, say, well, we'll fix it this time, and in the future, just come to me, because I still think you can do it. I'm disappointed that it didn't work out, but this is a learning experience. So always set someone up for success, expect the best. Don't punish them for making a mistake unless they're not learning from the mistake. For you, all of those things apply too, because you are kind of set up to go further than you expect. And if you hold on to all these little things, it's going to drag you down a bit, okay? Including trying to change the way someone works or thinks. You've got to you've got to rise up this month is what I'm saying. All right. Also, networking is really important, using social media wisely when it comes to business, and just wisely, full stop. So if you have sort of this upcoming opportunity, whether it's applying for school, a job, an internship, even if you're starting to date someone, nowadays our social media footprint is going to be a big part of how people, it's kind of like the equivalent of what people used to say at the water cooler or your reputation. So you want to clean that portion up, because I feel like we'll be getting to this in a moment, but all eyes are on you. So scrutinize your own sort of energy and make sure that either you really stand behind whatever you're going to put out there and you're cool with it, or if there's something that you need to rethink or pull offline, then you need to do that. Why am I saying this? Because your voice and your words are going to carry, so will your images and whatever you're putting out there. So use it to your advantage. Rather than having to do like a PR cleanup, always have the mindset that this is going to be shared. Probably about, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, kind of midway in doing what I'm doing right now, I just realized that there was no place for I don't have personal accounts. It's just all business accounts, because it's all the same. So if I put something out there and I want to share a piece of my life, I just assume, it's going to be publicly shared. So it's probably best on all social media platforms to assume that your grandmother, your mother, your boss, your friend, your child is going to see it. And then that's going to change a little bit about how you put whatever you put out there. But this is a piece. We see exposure, we see visibility with this. But it's also the final step before you get to the next sort of big pinnacle here. You may need some time to breathe. We have 2 different cards here that I was associating with this, or kind of like when we go back to the beginning, it was mental unplugging. This can also be the cord cutting. I mentioned cord cutting. The 6 of Swords would be cord cutting and deciding just to move on. The 8 of Cups would be, which is on the top, is going to be, I need some time to figure out if I still like this job, if I still love this person, if I still want to do what I'm doing. So sometimes you need to take a break where you come back and make a decision. Sometimes you need to just make a full stop and a clean break as well. So you may be on either side of this, which is why I put both of them here. Give yourself some time and space to think. I really think everyone could benefit from the top card a little bit, the 8 of Cups. Retreating into nature or going into a different environment is a great way for you to get that clarity and sort of like just understanding, internal sort of reset. Sleep on a major decision if you have the capacity to do it. Usually you can say, this is important. I need to do some more research. I need to talk it over with my spouse. I'm not sure. I just need to sleep on it. Usually big decisions, if you're going to sign a contract for a job, a house, etc., they're cool with giving you a night or a week or a couple of weeks sometimes. Because if they really want you to be committed before you start something, and anybody that tries to rush you into something, that really kind of raises some flags on, are they trying to hide something? Do I need to look at the language of this to make sure that something hasn't been missed? So if this is the right opportunity, that extra time and space is going to be allotted for you. If something is meant to be, it will be. If it isn't, don't push it, don't force it. Kind of imagine that there is a revolving door of opportunities. And if one of them really doesn't feel right, just say, okay, next. If there's something that you really want, remember that that cuts both ways and that opportunity will go to someone else at some point. So if it feels good and you're just hesitating out of fear, then don't let the fear get in the way. But if there's something deeper, and we've all been there and we've all recognized when there's deeper sort of emotions or feelings over, I need more information, then do the digging, just like Apollo did in the background. Get the information that you need, okay? Particularly when it comes to relationships. This piece attaches itself to one of the first slides here, which is changing the focus or the mental channel. So if someone or something in your life is draining your energy, you wake up every day thinking about it, or you have like obsessive thoughts over it when you're trying to just kind of do other things, you need a way to kind of do a mental download and a reset as well, because this is going to hold you back from being able to focus and concentrate. So I chose a card here that can show brainstorming, but it can also show sort of like distraction. And we don't want that to kind of get in the way here. So, whenever you have the Seven of Cups, which is the card that's illustrated here, it's a card of wondering. It's sometimes a card of daydreaming. And daydreaming can be good, but not if it's distracted. Not if it's like basically keeping you from what you need to focus on. So in this case, you want to talk to someone, or you want to find a way to channel it, write it down, take some action on it. The fact that it's here in your head is basically your higher self saying, sort this, please, so that it doesn't come up again, so that we can release this lesson. Overanalysis can actually equal paralysis. It becomes this sort of like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You're just going to take a deep breath, and you're going to pick one of those cups, and you're going to go forward with it. Whenever we're overwhelmed in tarot, whether it was the Two of Pentacles or the Seven of Cups, you take one away and it's better, actually. You take one of these away and it's the Six of Cups. You bring someone in to help you, and it's the Eight of Cups. Both of them are better than this one. Same thing happens when you have the Two of Pentacles. You remove one, you have an Ace. You add one, you have the Three of Pentacles. So you either need to pull in another point of view, or you need to let something go with both situations. If you're overreaching or sort of stretched too far, then you need to ask for help or let something go. If you're thinking about too much, get some assistance or have someone else deal with it, okay? Pretty easy on this one, but sometimes it helps to kind of hear it from someone else. If you don't like a program, and I'm talking about the way people operate, then it might be time for you to move on or reboot. The way that Spirit expressed this to me was kind of unique. I was seeing the human body, and particularly you, illustrated as if you were like a robot or a cyborg. And I watched as all the other people around you seemed to be moving in a different program. Not everyone, but most. And it felt like you couldn't kind of plug in to that anymore. So if you don't like the program or the sort of MO or whatever it is that people are doing around you, then this is really reminding you that you always have a choice to unplug, to do a reboot in your life. It could be a toxic relationship. It could be a toxic working environment. It could just be that you're at this precipice of an upgrade, a mental upgrade, where you're ready to do something better for yourself. Maybe you're going to go and get some training. Maybe you're going to just change your perspective and start to be, more positive or proactive or optimistic about something. When you do this, then it does feel sometimes like you're the alien or you're the outsider. Rest assured that you're not. You're just getting ready to find the next sort of spiritual family or spiritual tribe. And give yourself permission to do that if you feel ready for that. Okay? So there's actually some really big shifts and changes happening for you. None of them are catastrophic. All of them are actually quite beneficial. There's just a couple of distracting elements like focus, being too busy, and then maybe missing the big opportunities to reach for something that you really want to go for, to network, and to just focus on using you can think your way out of any situation. If you do a Google and take a look at some of the videos with octopus in them, or octopuses, octopi, I was like, what's the plural? It's either. But if you look at how this particular animal deals with challenges, it can actually find its way out of a tank. It can pry the lid open. It can kind of, sometimes it goes between the tide pools or whatever, and it can kind of slither along almost like a snake out of the water. It's a really intelligent animal. So even in a situation where it should be trapped, it's not going to. It will find a way to push its way out of instead of a box, a tank, because it's like, I don't want to be here. I want to be in the big pool. I want to be in the ocean. So I feel like some of you may be boxed in, and you're going to use your intelligence to prop that glass ceiling off. Okay? So let's go ahead now and look at the next piece here. All right, so these are some other messages that came through in dreams. I saw some of you might be prepping for an exam, for a project, for a proposal, or you might be trying to do something like a home improvement. Give yourself some extra time. It looked like you're going to need it. And whoever it is that's going to be kind of receiving this, whether you're getting this appraised, if it's a house or if it's a boss and they're looking at this, or a teacher and they're grading it, they're going to know if you rushed. So don't rush. Don't take the shortcuts. They'll be very apparent. Stay original to your vision, because what I also saw, and this is more for people that might be collaborating, or again, if it's going to be you're writing a paper or something, cite all of your references and give other people credit where credit is due. Because again, everything's possibly going to be scrutinized here. So you want to make sure that your ideas are your ideas and others are others. And one of the things, because I'm a former English, I was a minor, I was a journalism major, but it's the same thing. So you have to understand sources. So what the important thing is when you tell a story, when you report on something, when you create an analysis is, of course, you're going to be leaning into other research. Why would you reinvent the wheel? What you want to do is take the research and come up with some new insights. It's the insights that are important. Citing the sources is the easy part. So just make sure that everyone gets credit. And then whoever it is that's kind of tapping on your shoulder, what they really care about is how can we look at all of this in a different light? And that's what makes it more powerful. And then again, everybody can share in the discovery. And that's kind of just how science and journalism, when done appropriately, work. You share ideas and you build upon existing ones and cool things happen. So this is where the team is going to be really important. And I think leaning into that or on others is going to help you with your success. But you're going to need more time than you thought to finish something. I got it down to a science where sometimes I knew how long it would take me to do like a 10-page research paper, and I would be doing it the night before, and it was stupid. So don't put yourself in that position. It just makes you tired. And the older you get, the more you realize it's not worth it. All eyes are on you. So I was shown Janus, and there were a couple things that came through. Janus, of course, is the god that January was named after, and it basically has a face here in the front and a face in the back. The message that I also received from spirits before even seeing this was basically eyes in the back of your head. And that's what also then I focused on that. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Janus. And then when I focused on that image, what came through was this message. All eyes are on you, act accordingly. Good deeds are going to be rewarded. And any issues that come up to the surface are meant to come up to the surface. If you're proactive, however, you won't really need to deal with any of those issues. You can kind of fix them before they get started. So stay accountable, stay transparent, be active, and assume that you're going to be put into a visible place. I could have put one more card on this slide and it would have been the Six of Wands, which is success and visibility, or the Star, which is also success and visibility and accountability. So that's what you're really being set up for. And I'm excited to see now, as we delve into the cards here in just a moment, what kind of synchronicities might come up. I'm always curious if some of the cards that I tapped into also appear as we look at what's coming through for you. Okay, so that was my channeled messages. That's something that I do here that's maybe a little different than others. Let's go ahead and focus now on the Celtic Cross and Expanded Forecast. I picked a few decks that I haven't used in a while. I think I'm just going to go with the one that hasn't been used probably in about a year's time. Not necessarily for any reason. I have a deck here called I think it's called Wizard's Tarot. It'll be on my website. Maria can give you the link to that. We haven't used it in a long time, so let's just go with an oldie and see if it resonates today. I just kind of went shopping in my in my collection of decks, and I thought, this is an old one. So I'm trying to bring some out of rotation or into rotation that have been sort of out for a while. Okay, so we're going to turn the camera overhead here and see what's coming through for you today. Again, if you just joined, this is going to be for the next 6 to 8 weeks. A lot of what you're going to see in the past and recent past will still be relevant today. So if you just joined, perfect timing. Good to have all of you here today. And thanks for joining me on a Monday. I appreciate it. All right, let me just put my glasses on as I'm looking at these. right, let me just pull this back a little bit so you can see it better. Okay. All right, let's take a look at what's coming through for you today. We're going to start off with the catalyst cards here. The catalyst cards are what kicks off the action for the month. You have two. Let's start with the one that's on top. We have this beautiful hunter card, and I love how we see this sort of beacon. There is that sort of reveal moment that I was talking about a little bit earlier. So many of you may find yourself in that sudden sort of visibility that would come with the Star or the Six of Wands. And we see some of you feeling like, am I ready for this? Am I under? We see the Hunter card. So for some of you, this could be feeling like you're put under scrutiny or attack. The truth of the matter here is that I'm just going to assume that this card actually has a knight on the horse. So you would be able to come through and boldly defend and move forward the mantle, the idea, whatever it is that you're trying to bring out with this sense of just sort of talent, aplomb, success, etc. So yes, there's visibility, but there's nothing to be afraid of. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it this month. You too could be the hunter. So basically, you have to prepare for what I've been saying as being like in that spotlight or being visible, and then also expect that if something's been eluding you, all of a sudden now it's coming into focus. Okay? So I do like this because it shows finally a breakthrough or breakout moment, which is something that I've been talking about. Okay. Now we have a really interesting card here. A lot of like earthworms and little creepy crawlies. So this is what I would expect to see if I picked a rock up. And we have the underworld here on this particular card. So if we pull the two cards together, we see a reveal coming through with this, and then we see some stuff that needs to be dealt with. This is definitely connected to the energy that I was talking about before, where it's going to be important for you to clean up. I talked about this on the weekend, clean up messes. And if there's anything that you're worried that might sort of get out there, we actually saw a really cool card on the weekend where there was like this skeleton, which represented the devil, a kind of unusual way of bringing that energy in. But I kind of use the analogy of just hugging that skeleton, because we all have something in our life that we feel like we could work on. Maybe there's one person out there that is just super happy with everything, but I think everyone has either a regret or a secret or a wish or a desire to change something, because that's what we're doing on this channel and life rather, planet, is kind of like learning and expanding and kind of like adding to our experience. So there's always something that we want to grow. When you overcome your insecurity, really, which is what it is, then it's okay. When you can own it, when you know how to react if someone brings it up, you're then in a position of power, okay? There could also be something coming through where that spotlight ends up shining onto something and you see someone in a different light. Maybe you never understood before that they had a temper, that they had a habit, maybe some of like an addiction or something like that. And in this moment, that sort of reveal comes through. And when the spotlight shines on them, you're going to have to figure out how to react, how to sort of deal with this. You're going to be fine because, again, I assume that this is a knight. So you're just going to be able to come through and demonstrate to them how it should be done. And that's the advice. Catalyst cards, the way I kind of organize them here, they're an opportunity for you to create positive action and traction in your life. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at the next portion here, which are your center cards. Let me just get everything arranged a little bit neater. All right, so at the center we have the Three of Cups, which to me is a really positive energy as well. Three of Cups is a chance for people might be talking in a really positive way. So let's start with those of you that have a job or might be trying to get ahead at your job. The Three of Cups can be the positive buzz when people are saying, do you know this person? Have you seen what they're doing? Or, hey, why isn't that person in this role or whatever? It can be positive momentum and good word of mouth. If you are a small business owner or a freelancer, maybe you have an Etsy shop or something like this, this can also be good reviews. And if you know someone that you like, by the way, that is an independent business person, give them a good review. This is really a powerful way to show them support. Same thing, like here on YouTube, if you leave a positive comment, hit the like button, it helps because the Three of Cups is part of the algorithm, and it's the same thing for Yelp. It's the same thing for Google reviews. So what I'm seeing here is a chance for you to be helped and to be in that positive energy. And a good way to kind of foster that is to put it out there for someone else. Positivity and compliments are free. And when they're heartfelt, they're amazing at really bringing something to the next level. Okay? So definitely, if you can do that, do that. If you know someone who needs that assistance, go for it. This can also be a celebration. And it's a small celebration. And as we're kind of in this new world here where we have to be careful, these small gatherings are not the end of the world if everybody's safe and taking care of themselves and weighing out all of that. So maybe there's a small gathering that you're going to do, and this could actually bring about a new connection, new love, new work opportunity, new ideas. It could also just kind of make you feel better. During the kind of like worst part of the lockdown, a lot of my friends were doing this virtually, and it still may be the smart choice for some of you to do virtual sort of meetings. But keep in touch. It feels like one of the points of encouragement this month is to reach out and really kind of connect to the core friends or chosen family that you want to kind of feel closer to, all right? There could be new love coming into your life. You know, I don't exclusively read love, but I will highlight it when it comes through. And this next card is actually connected to that. We have the Eight of Cups. And I mentioned the Eight of Cups for some of you might be needing to take a break. It's kind of interesting here because this is a card of being thrust into a social sort of opportunity. And this is you saying, I need 5 minutes. I need to go get some fresh air. This could also mean that if you meet someone that we do see the potential for it to last, but these are not like committal cards, like non-committal, I should say. They're sort of in between. Three of Cups is the earliest sort of stage of dating or getting to know someone. So if you're between these sort of stages right now, this is basically, we just met and I want to meet you again. The Fool card is, we met and I think that was enough. It's like a bad date, or it's just like a one-time only sort of thing. This shows me that there's interest in another meeting. This can also work for an interview. And this card shows me that there'll be a few, 2 or 3 or 4 times before you might actually know where you're headed. If you've been in a relationship for a while, and I'm going to go much deeper when we kind of do the relationship in the expanded forecast, but this can also mean that things are sporadic, they're hot and cold. So one thing that I'd like to see with these 2 cards is maybe a little bit more of a clarity on how committed someone is, how much they want. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. But I do like Eight of Cups because it does show that there is a sort of predictable action going on. And the only thing that's kind of interesting in the illustration of this one is sometimes we lose track, or it seems like, you know, if there's a lot of sporadic things going on, you may kind of forget, what did I do then? And picking up the pieces could be difficult for you. So do what you can to really kind of like focus on what deserves your attention. This is just one removed from the Seven of Cups. So you've kind of just gathered the energy of, now I want to focus on this, but there's still a little bit of distraction or a little lack of organization. So focus on getting organized. All right. Looking in the deep past, we have the Nine of Cups. So Nine of Cups in reverse can be a very sort of overwhelming card sometimes emotionally to come through. Let's look at it up close. So it's a card of extremes. Sometimes it can be extreme relaxation or laziness. Sometimes it can be overreacting or overworking. Usually we're taking one thing and giving it too much power. So if something in your life, let's say someone in your life said something and it really gets under your skin, what you want to think about is, are they feeling it to the same extent that you are? And if they aren't, why give power to their words? You're kind of propping them up a little bit more than you need to. I often use the example of when I was working with someone who was just really negative. I had a light worker in my life that gave me advice, a Reiki teacher. And she just advised me to do what we're talking about today, which is to change the channel. She said, if you want to stop thinking about this person, stop thinking about this person. Like when that comes into your mind, instead look at something that you do enjoy. Listen to some music. Look at something that you can control. And that's a way to kind of like dissolve some of that heavy energy. You might just have some really great things going on in your life. Just don't overdo it. That's the main thing that I would say with Nine of Cups in reverse. I like the positivity of it. So stay positive. Don't let someone deflate your bubble, and don't give too much power to someone else's words or actions. You are an active participant and creator in this as well. we have the Lovers right here in the recent past. So for those of you watching live, gosh, we have a lot of great energy around love. It's all cups so far, and people and your emotions. So that's why we really want to kind of put this in the best possible energetic light. So give me a second here, and we'll what I want to talk about with this is, okay, so for some of you, I can see something going deeper because when we're looking at 3 of Cups, 8 of Cups, 9 of Cups, and Lovers, that is commitment. So is the Ace of Swords. So new love actually has some legs to go with. And the Ace of Pentacles, these 2 aces in a new relationship are pretty good. In an old relationship, though, again, it feels like one of the things that you have to look at is, am I getting enough? The 6 of Pentacles, I'm fast forwarding a bit, is sort of like, are you doing more than your partner? At work, are you doing more than the other people? Are you getting, rewarded appropriately for that? So there's a balancing act that needs to happen. I do feel like one party wants more from the other, and that's the sort of negotiation piece that needs to happen. But if it's new, it looks like there is a lot of good opportunities, so that portends good things. There could be a third party kicking in here a little bit, and I talked about this on the weekend. I think the weekend, if not, it would have been the last sign that I read for, so maybe Taurus. But third parties are not always about, another person trying to break you up or temptation. It can oftentimes be someone close to you that means well, but is kind of too much in your business. So sometimes this can be, a parent, a friend, a sister, a brother, a cousin, and they just kind of get into the middle of something. So you, and whoever it is in your life and whatever's going on. So I would say in this situation, just pull back a little bit from that other energy and really work it out with the person that matters and figure out what the 2 of you want, and then convey whatever it is that you do or don't want with that other person to them. Get them out of the mix a little bit, because I see the ability to smooth it over, even if that person tries to insert themselves in the conversation, okay? So there's a lot of people energy this month. It definitely looks like we need to focus on relationships quite a bit, just to make sure that, things are clear. What Andre just mentioned in chat makes a lot of sense too. This is the connections energy, so thanks for bringing that up. So the 3 of Cups, the Lovers, the 8 of Cups, this is making a connection. If you kind of give someone your card at a party or something like that, that means not only are they going to keep it, but they'll call you back or add you on LinkedIn or something like that. Definitely a good time for that. If you throw out a resume, or if someone like a friend of yours brings that resume to someone else, there's interest in it. So people are where the magic is for you this month, okay? Really good energy overall. So I like what I'm seeing here. The Lovers doesn't always mean you're in love. This can also mean that you have a really attractive energy. What do I mean by that? I mean that if there is something that you're trying to bring into your life, whether it's money or new house, some sort of manifestation, you have the ability to attract both like a synchronicity and also like the right connection, the right person to make this happen. So you can use the 3 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, and the Lovers cards, and that energy that they're bringing to you to sort of say, yeah, let's bring that closer. I'm ready for it, because people just want to kind of be in your energetic sphere a little bit more than they normally would. So whatever you're doing, it seems to be working. Your crowning card is pretty powerful here. We have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords card is basically showing you that this is the time to take the action. This is the time to basically say, I'm ready and I'm willing to do the work. So my question to you is, are you ready and willing to do the work here? Look at all the beautiful energy coming around this. When you decide to take action, then you're going to see reaction. That doesn't always happen, but we see it with this card, action and reaction. And when you decide to say something, people are going to listen. When I was a kid and my dad was trying to tell me in a nice way to be quiet, he was like, your voice carries. And I should have just said, thank you. That's what it's supposed to be doing if it's working. But he was like, other people are listening. But I actually see it now as something that I would own in a good way. Yeah, your voice carries. I hope it does. And for you this month, it definitely does. But it's both in written and spoken. Your actions also carry. And that's what I put in the slide. And that's what we're seeing with the Ace of Swords. So what are you going to do? What do you want to do this month? You have a lot of power, and a lot of people are going to pay attention to that. So act accordingly, act in the highest good, act as if the spotlight that we see here on the Hunter card is on you. Because then if people try to say well, wait, did you do this and this? You'll say, yes, because of XYZ. You'll have it all sorted out. If there's something that needs to be cleaned up, clean it up so that all this sort of creepy crawly stuff that we lift up under the rock is gone and people will have to just move on to someone else, okay? Six of Pentacles, balance. This was part of our slides this morning when I was looking at your channel messages. So we see someone here, again, delegating and deciding, you, not you, yes, no, or not now, tomorrow. You definitely have that ability to delegate. And you don't have to put all of your cards up front here. So we see that she's kind of filed some things away for a rainy day in the background. And she's like, I can let go of this. So the important thing for you is to know your limits, know where in the past perhaps you've kind of had some challenges with balancing everything and getting it done. And now you're going to learn from that so that you no longer are kind of caught in a situation where you're thinking, I wish I would have just said no, or I think we've all been invited to something or doing something and you think to yourself, why am I doing this? This is so much work. Or I remember before that this didn't go the way that I expected it would. So basically, don't be afraid to push back a little bit, say no. When it comes to financial success, the thing that I love about the Six of Pentacles is you're going to have more than enough. So all that's important here is to remember that it takes time. If we were to go like one more in tarot, 6 goes to 7. 7 is impatience. When you look at the 7 of Pentacles, we'll see someone sitting there watching a tree or a bush grow and wishing that there were more little money, coins and dollar bills on that money tree. It takes time. So with this one, you're going to decide wisely and not stretch yourself too much, because you can leapfrog over the 7 and get straight to the 8 of Pentacles, which is production, which is a nice influx of energy and a return on investment. Okay, let's go into how you're showing up. It feels like you need a little bit of just some time to yourself. We have the King of Cups in reverse. King of Cups, of course, rules emotions. Even when this card is upright, we see that chair kind of topsy-turvy. So the main thing for you is that you may be feeling a little bit like a sponge, where you've been absorbing a lot of energy, a lot of empathy and feelings from others around you. You could also just be kind of exhausted after working too much, pushing yourself too much. So you're going to make a decision now to sort of step back and say, I don't want to do this, or I need this. There's also a coaching opportunity with those that you love, where if you do like something, say it. If you don't, say it. And there's always an opportunity with any Cups card in reverse to basically take a look at if you're truly feeling worthy and ready to receive what's being offered. Why am I saying that? Because you got 2 aces, my friends, here. So you might have a couple of opportunities, and this is saying tune into your heart. What does your heart really want? Does it feel this, or does it feel this? This would be something that's a lot more sort of based in material or money, and this may be something that really connects with you on a mental level or spiritual level. But maybe there's a way that you can blend these two together. You've got to speak up, because if you don't, I joke, if you're an intuitive, you shouldn't have to go to your cards and runes and crystals and meditations to figure someone else, what they think or what's going on, and figure it out. There should be communication. So lean into the communication. Speak your mind, say what you need to say, make sure that your partner, your friend, the other party is doing the same as well, okay? So that's what I'm seeing with this, is make sure that you are happy and getting what you want, and make sure that you're ready to receive, and that you're also being fulfilled. And that hits all the different categories. In love, in relationships, in life in general, your happiness matters. And you've got so much working in your favor this month that you definitely deserve to be happy. I have some good news for you. When we look in the environment here, I really like that we see the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles can be what you've been waiting for. It can be a new opportunity. It can be an offer on the table. It also just shows that someone's interested in you. So let's look at this ace really closely here. The main opportunity with any ace when it's presented to you in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition is, do you want it? The universe is saying, how about this? You always get to say yes or no. And that's why the emotional portion of this card is important. If you don't feel it, don't do it, because it's going to be hard for you to kind of like really fake it in this particular situation. I'm looking really close at the tattoo on this person, and it looks like So I had a really interesting visitation, and thank goodness this energy's gone, but I had what I would consider sort of like, it was either like a fairy or an imp or something smaller, very sort of small energy, and they're trickster energies sometimes, and that's what I was picking up on. So that's why the past couple readings, as I've been tuning in, today it was a lot cleaner. I wasn't seeing any of that for you. So there was someone on the weekend that needed to hear that, but we're seeing it here in this little tiny tattoo. You can look really closely there, and I see what looks like a little creature. So there's a little fly in the ointment when it comes to a contract or an offer. That is a string attached, my friends. So I do want you to kind of just look really closely when it comes to signing something. It could also just be that there could be something positive too. There's something unexpected. So plan for the unexpected, and I think you're going to be okay. Don't be afraid to ask a little bit more to make sure that you don't miss something that's right under your sleeve or right under your nose right there, okay? All of that's super important. But anyway, with this, work your magic. The Ace of Pentacles is really, really important for that, okay? I love that. There could be a proposal for those of you that are in a relationship. There could be a job offer for those of you that are job seeking. You may also put something out there for consideration. Even though, you know, I didn't pull in the cards here, the World card, I still got that in meditation. So there's this opportunity to be seen. And you might be exactly what someone's looking for, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to the next card here. So we were just looking at the environment for you. Let's now take a look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. So interestingly enough, we have a couple of king cards here. I'll move the mic so you can see it. You're coming through more as King of Cups. The other person or the opportunities coming through is King of Swords. King of Swords reversed is really encouraging you to just say what you need to say and not mince any words. And we've been getting either the King or the Queen quite a bit over the past few readings of Swords. And so with the reversal of this, I would say in this particular situation, the more concise you can be in stating a desire or stating something that doesn't suit your needs, the better. So the sooner and the briefer, the better. When you wait too long or you say too much, it just kind of like goes in and out, or people hang on the wrong words. So a firm no. No thank you is really strong. I was talking yesterday about how powerful 1, 2, or 3 words can be. No, thank you. Or not today, how about tomorrow? You can kind of just use a few words and it really lets people know where you're at, and there's no wishy-washy sort of energy. If someone's like, do you want to hang out? Sure, that would be great. Like, yes, I'm interested. So thank you, no, or thank you, yes, or not today, or how about next week? Just put it out there. Don't ask them what they want to do necessarily, especially if you know. Just say, I like this. Are you in? That is a much more powerful way of saying, I don't know, how about this? Maybe we could do that. Like this is basically saying, if you want to get into your power this month, step up to the plate and say it. And then you'll see someone that's really kind of connected with that. If you need advice, you could say, here's where I'm at. Where are you at? But you're going to be stronger in your negotiation and in your sort of verbalization skills here. And in the outcome, we see the Knight of Swords. So, you know, ostensibly, that's what this Hunter card is really connecting to, is your outcome here. Knight of Swords also reversed. By the way, this can also be a family when I see a couple of higher court cards and a younger card like this. So some of you are dealing with a key issue possibly around money in the family. There could also just be you being caught in the middle of disagreement, or someone's trying to kind of like pull you towards their side, and this is where you stand your ground and say yes or no. They're looking for someone to decide anyway, so make sure that what you say is what you want to do. Overall, though, you're put in a position of power this month, which is good, and it's really now just a choice for you to decide, what do I want to do about this, okay? And really these sort of, all the energy that we're seeing for you right now is kind of perfect for your sign. I feel like being able to communicate, being able to be strong and clear and concise, and then taking some action. If you do all of that, it's great. And Gemini, I'm happy that you're showing up with, you know, a King of Swords card here as well. The emotional side definitely is a piece to that we'll want to look at, but overall, you showed up, and you showed up in a big way, which is good. Let's expand the forecast now. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start with the health card here. And as with all of the extended forecast, the health card is going to be multifaceted. We're going to look at mind, body, and spirit. So let me pull this card up front so you can see it. When I'm looking at this, I see someone who is kind of having fun. It looks like finger painting, right? But the interesting thing that I'm looking at is there's still some stuff that they, like, to me, this kind of reads as energetic baggage. So on the health perspective, I think some of you may be sort of in the middle of someone else's stuff, and their trauma, drama, or energy is kind of intermixed with yours. So one thing that you can do, of course, is just breathe, take an Epsom salt bath, which is, you can get that stuff really cheap at any sort of drug or convenience store. And basically just take a bath with that, breathe, and imagine that all of the energy from them is kind of melting out into the water. And then when you kind of activate the drain, it's all going to go down the drain, and you're just being cleared and cleansed of that. Just a little tip, if you do take a salt bath like that, you'll probably want to take a shower afterwards, or just go ahead and take another quick bath just to get the salt off your skin. Otherwise it dries out. Something that I wish people had told me before. So that's something that I've learned. It's good to do that maybe once a month if you're highly empathic. It just helps you pull out other people's energy. Swimming works the same way. Swimming in the ocean works the same way. Same sort of tip with the ocean. You're going to want to shower after that. But there seems like there's a little bit of someone else's emotional energy attached to you, so work at kind of getting rid of that. I like the expressive piece in this, and that it really nicely connects with what I put in the channeled messages a little bit earlier. So if you can find a way to express yourself creatively, I like writing, as you can see with my book in the background. I like taking pictures. I like going out into nature. I like art. So there's a lot of different ways that you can express yourself. Dance also counts here. You don't have to just talk to a therapist or something. You can just express it in a different way. But there is a little bit of stuff, and talking to a friend or family member counts too. Basically get that energy out so that you can focus. We're going to now take a look at just the cards themselves to look at some general messages around health. Standard disclaimer applies when I'm looking at health messages. I'm not a doctor. I'm looking at energy and opportunities. With that being said, let's go ahead and look at how the health messages are stacking up for you this month. One thing that I would say is avoid extremes here. Both the 9 of Cups and 3 of Cups together are cards of excess. So if you are prone to kind of going overboard, overspending, overdrinking, overeating, etc., this is about reining it in a little bit. And that's precisely what the 6 of Pentacles is about. So rein it in a little bit. The other thing that I'm seeing here is, if you want to start something new, 8 of Pentacles is a way for you to kind of like step into that and see it stick. Like if there's a phrase, throwing pasta on the wall to see what sticks. This will stick if you decide to do something new. I see something really good actually happening with respect to health. And when we go to wealth, the same thing holds true, okay? Emotional well-being and fulfillment and satisfaction, absolutely a big part of your just sort of mental health this month as well. You will have the ability to bring things into balance, but what I'm seeing here again is asking for whatever it is that you need from the other party, because with the 6 of Pentacles, there could be a lack of balance. And that's pretty much everything with respect to health. So overall, you have some pretty good health cards. One thing that some of you might just be afraid of is, well, if I go to the doctor, what if they find something? Well, what if they don't? And even if they do, you want to get this taken care of sooner than later. I'm not getting like a Tower card here or a Devil card. So it feels like whatever is coming through this month, it's better to know and you're going to be able to manage. And the main thing that I'm seeing is really just emotional well-being, mental health. That's important. And just not overdoing things like eating or drinking too much, okay? So self-control and emotional well-being, focus on that, and you're going to have a good month ahead. All right, let's take a look at the next card here. So we're just looking at health. We're going to move along to wealth. We have trust coming through. It says, I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. This is what I was talking about when I saw you as a robot with a different program, okay? And so with that different program, you have to trust that if you're being called to do something different, that is the right thing. So for some of you, this could mean that mom and dad expect you to keep going down a path. Maybe it's to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, whatever the traditional path, but you really want to be an entrepreneur, or you want to be an artist, or you want to do something, comedian or something like that, something completely atypical or unexpected. That's your program. That's your life. That's your opportunity. And you have to trust in that. Of course, we could take it at face value, and there could also be trust issues popping up for many of you with respect to the people that you are kind of entrusting your money to or working with. So if you don't have the trust there, it's kind of hard. It'll be a house of cards that you're building. So definitely take a look at making sure that you absolutely trust the person that you're working with or leaning into for advice when it comes to money and finances. Specifically, let's look at the cards for some additional connections to wealth here. Offers on the table, opportunities to navigate and maneuver upwards if you need to. You're pretty powerful this month when it comes to opening up something new. It doesn't mean that it has to happen overnight, but I see a couple of new things on the horizon for you. And if you play it kind of like in the right way here, it feels like you can shine here. 3 of Cups and Lovers means that you nail an interview, or that you shine in a social situation, or if you're put up to the microphone, somehow you magically find the words to make it happen, right? And then with the 8 of Cups on top of this, then you'll be able to kind of keep it rolling. So I think that, let's see. I was distracted by a comment. One thing that you want to do with, if there's any sort of restricting thoughts, and I see someone uncertain of something, you want to kind of put in certainty with it. I'm ready for this. I'm going to do this. So I mention that because it can benefit everyone here with the 8 of Cups. So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I can do it, 8 of Cups is telling you you can, but you have to focus. Again, if we were to take the lesson of the 7 of Cups, which I brought into I'm going to just go back to it for a second. If we take a look at, let's see here, it was right in my slides, I believe. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, so I'll bring the picture up real quick. So if we look at this particular slide here, we can see the person distracted by all the things that possibly could be. That can be very much sort of the thing that gets you into trouble. You want to instead go into the more empowering place of, no, I know what I want, I know what I'm focusing on, and I'm going to make it happen, okay? So there you go. All right, let me see if there was anything else with respect to work. The one thing that I'm seeing here is that there may be too many chiefs. There may be too many people with the same title where you're at. We have a king, and you're coming through as a knight. You may actually be ready for this sort of king opportunity, but they may not be ready to put you into that. So if it is a work situation and it's top heavy, or if they kind of wait and they can only have one person at one title at a time, here's the cool thing. When we look at the cards, there are other opportunities. You could either go and find one and then bring it back and say, I want to stay, but I can't turn this down. Can you match it? Or you can just go for something else. Because a lot of times I look at when people are not able or willing or ready to show up and kind of like meet you on the level, then it may not be enough. And that's actually part of what the 6 of Pentacles can also indicate, is that I need more. I need more than this. So you have the power to get more if you want it, or at least communicate your desires and see what the other party says. Okay, so pretty good with wealth overall, and you do have an ace in the environment, so I feel good about that. You can do a lot with an ace, all right? Let's take a look at love and relationships. You got 2 cards in love and relationships. I'm going to start with the Panther card here, and this one is about reclamation, reclaiming your power. One thing that's really cool with Panthers they are fast, right? So this is a fast moving, fast thinking, fast reflex sort of animal. And also it's pretty darn strong. So you have this ability to maneuver. And when I think of a cat having 9 lives too, even the big cats like lions and panthers and lynx, etc., even if you feel like, this went wrong, etc., you're really being given a judgment opportunity rising from the ashes. And like I put in the slide at the beginning, the world, this is really about pushing through that. So I feel like this is a chance for you to reinvent and find the power and find a place where you can be the king and not the knight, because you've earned that opportunity, okay? So definitely stand up. And when I'm looking at this with relationships, this can also be the power struggle between the 2 of you in the relationship. So I'll look at that in just a second. But either way, you can maneuver through this. You can get through this, and you will exit it feeling stronger, all right? Really great energy. This is probably the other party. It was hidden under the Panther card, stuck to it. We have the Fox Spirit. The person that you are dealing with, whether it's a coworker, a lover, or a friend. They're pretty smart. They're pretty crafty. They have a way of sneaking up on you. I think of the fox as being pretty darn intelligent, but the fox in my mind's eye is kind of like right here behind me and just kind of like hiding a little bit. Whereas the panther is head on. That little fox is kind of like a little shifty. So you may have some sort of shifty energy around you, and you're going to outfox the fox because you can actually run faster than it with the panther spirit. And you're attuned to recognize what's going on before it happens, okay? So let's take a look at the fox and the panther and the story of love and relationships this month with respect to your sign. All right, I like to look at three things. I always like to take a look at those in a core relationship. So if you're married, dating, or you're just obsessed with thinking about someone, even if it's a coworker or something, not necessarily romantic, this can be your core relationship, okay? For those of you that are looking for love or not interested, stick around. But we're going to start first with those of you that are already in a relationship. So right off the bat, what I'm noticing here is similar energies. So we have two kings, and both kings are focused on their own worlds. I read the ranks, not the genders. So I just see two really experienced and strong people here. Kings can be actually women or non-binary, it doesn't matter. So I see two people, two individuals that are kind of stuck in their ways. When we look at the first individual, they are an emotional thinker. They follow their gut. When I look at the second individual, I see someone who likes to talk it out, who likes to see what's going on, who cares about optics and what other people think. So one of the core differences and issues is going to be a person who just feels that it's right, and another one who needs to talk it out and cares about the optics. I think it's you because I would ascribe King of Swords to you. But either way, trying to see it from the other person's perspective is going to be the key thing. When we look at the cards to lean in how you can do that, there's going to have to be the fine art of compromise here, because the Six of Pentacles tells you that one side's going to have to give a little bit more than the other. Both sides gets a little bit of what it wants, though. So I see a happy compromise coming through. I see both parties satisfied, but I see a communication delta or difference. And there's going to be more conversations in the future about this, but you'll be able to navigate through whatever it is in front of you right now. Some of you in a relationship might be missing the spark that you had when you first got together. That's a natural sort of thing as relationships evolve. There's a lot of love there, though. So for those of you that are just looking to rekindle the spark, you can. These two aces definitely show that. One of the things that you'll have to do is try to make time and make it a priority. There could be a third party involved that could create some issues, but your outcome cards look pretty good here. And it feels like you're just going to have to kind of like decide maybe to spend less time and energy around that person. Overall, I feel pretty good about existing relationships. The only thing for you, taking care of yourself, Nine of Cups reverse and King of Cups reverse can be depression, feeling overwhelmed, a lack of satisfaction. So you're going to be focusing on making sure that those areas of your life are more in balance. For those of you that are looking for love this month, well, heck yeah, you got some great cards here with the Three of Cups and the Lovers. You might have more than one person that's interested. You may have a busy dance card, a busy schedule. Really decide what's worth your time and energy. We don't want to see exhaustion. Some of you may be worried about being hurt, but I'm not necessarily seeing that in the cards. Just be picky is what I would say. Work is going to take some of your time and energy. And for those of you in school, I see just a lot of energy going in other areas, okay? But overall, really good, and more than one opportunity for love. We have no less than 3 court cards coming through here with what's available. So lots of options if you're looking for love. Potentially either a water sign or another fellow air sign coming through. If you're single and happy or just curious like what else is coming through for you, well, like I said, work and developing of ideas, and also just being able to sort of like make a difference and be seen and be heard, all of that is available to you. And you kind of being a social butterfly is what the universe is setting you up to do. If you're a little shyer than some other people might be, you're going to still excel and exceed in this sort of environment, but exceed expectations. But it's just a matter of trusting your instincts. That's really what the Panther is here to say. And if someone else is trying to better you, you're going to be able to see through that for sure, okay? Because all I see is power and opportunity here. It looks pretty darn good, all right? Let's go ahead now and take a look at what's coming through for your outcome card, and it's a card of peace. We have the White Buffalo, and the White Buffalo is definitely an auspicious card, peace offering, and a chance for you to, again, kind of stand out. When I'm looking at this, that's not something that you would see every day. This is a pretty key, significant spiritual card as well. But when I'm looking at it, what the word that came to me was peace, and also being at peace with yourself and with your visibility. You may have to be the one that offers that peace pipe and that offering to someone and saying like, I'm willing to set this aside if you are. But if they don't want to apologize, if they're not ready to do it, then you're going to choose the path of peace, which may be to walk away and to move on, because you've got better things to focus on, much better things to focus on. Sometimes people, when they're caught in the spotlight, they just kind of recede and they're like, okay. But you're going to have other people step in. This person was just a decoy when they're kind of showing up in that sort of that energy or that light. Okay. Overall, really great. We're going to now take a look at we're going to do a big idea card, and then we'll move on to blessings and blocks. So the big idea is an overarching sort of symbol or message to help you maximize what's available to you over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, we have 3 of Swords and 3 of Swords in reverse. This 3 of Swords is really interesting because I don't even think we don't even have a heart on this one, which is interesting. What I see here is just a lot of stuff in disarray. So 3 of Swords normally would be ascribed to the heart center, but what some of you may be hanging on to, and I can definitely relate because this has happened before, whether it's a friend, a family member, or something someone writes. You're hanging on to the words that someone said or an action that someone did. And it may have been a long time ago. So someone in the past said, you're not good enough, or I don't like you, or you just need to do this. Why can't you just be more like this person? Why can't you grow up? Whatever it might be. Those words, as we see here, kind of like shattered the windows, shattered the doors, and it sort of like messed everything up. It was just someone in the moment saying something. And mind this, they'll probably one day have to come to a point where they, at least in soul review, are going to have to understand the ramifications of that. The other thing here is just to choose happiness. It's a cleaner path for you. I did a little snippet on social media for one of the signs that I just read for. It would have had to have been Aries, I think, probably Aries or Taurus. Maybe, or it might have been on the impromptu one, I can't remember. But people that are trying to choose what makes them happy, or what their soul path is, it should be aligned to that sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. If you're unhappy in a relationship or a job and it consistently brings the same energy, then it's time to move on. You don't need any other marker except for that. So this is a chance for you to really clean it all up. This is actually giving me a little bit of an epiphany because I saw something like this as a kid, but I didn't understand it. I had this moment with my father, and I was able to see things as a kid, but he was convincing me that I didn't see this. But I think what happened was I went to the Akashic Records for him, and it was a mess. My dad had some issues that he was working on, but I saw paperwork. It was exactly like this. I saw like all of his, like the book and scrolls and all the stuff, like all of your records, they were in disarray. And as an adult now, it just clicked with me. That happened when I was like 5, 6, 7. Really 5 probably. Too young to, he just thought I was having a daydream, but I'm like, no, I see it around you. I see a mess. You need to clean up your mess. I actually told him that, like, there's a mess here. Mom's going to be upset. So what I saw was his Akashic Records. So what this is for some people in your life is they are dealing with a soul contract with you, and you can see that they need to clean it up, but they can't see it. And they may not see it even in this lifetime. That was the truth from my father. He'll figure that out. He'll clean it up in spirit. I know he's working on it. And the next lifetime, he's going to have an amazing one. But he had to clean up some energy this lifetime. So for you, if there's someone in your life and they're not cleaning up their messes, by all means, you have my encouragement to redirect your energy elsewhere, because it may take longer than you expect for that to kind of be cleaned up. For you, do the work on yourself. You're going to appreciate it. It's going to bring in people of a higher energy for you too. And because of my personal experience, I have another message with this one. If you see something and someone denies it, trust what you see. Like if you see potential and someone says, I've said this before, if they say I'm not good enough for you, then they're not good enough for you. They're speaking their truth. If someone won't be accountable for something that they've done, they're not worth the time and energy to have another argument or discussion. So somebody around you needs to clean up their mess. And if they don't want to do it, you don't have to clean up their mess. As a healer to other healers and other intuitives out there, I'm giving you permission to focus on your own work, okay? Super powerful, super important message for all of you. We have to empower everyone to be their highest and best self. We can't always do the work for them, okay? All right, so just a quick reminder of where we're at and what's going on. By the way, just the reversal of this, by the way, tells you that you're going to be on a path to happiness and fulfillment, okay? There's just one little final test, which for some of you is that feeling like I've got to clean this up. Not unless it's your mess, okay? All right, so we just took a look at the big idea. We're going to move on next to blessings and blocks. Pretty self-explanatory. Blessings and blocks are things to embrace, things to avoid. However, as with many things esoteric and spiritual, they often come in disguise. So sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, or it's a block that's something that could actually help you by blocking you. All right, so let's start off with your blessing card first. All right, so give a quick view of what I'm shuffling and we'll see what's coming through for the blessing. All right, so your blessing card is the Page of Swords. I'll take it. You basically came through really loud. I think I got almost all of the Swords cards here, except the Queen. All right, and your block is going to be Seven of Cups, which we talked about in the channeled messages. So let's pull these cards up close so you can get a good look at them and see what's coming through. All right, so your blessing this month is the Page of Swords. Page of Swords, the ability to take action, to speak your mind. Also, you may find yourself as the translator, as the mediator, as the in-between, and you're going to excel more than you would possibly imagine at doing this. So you have the ability to take what someone wants to have done or what they're trying to think about. Your words may be more powerful than them. Some of you may be in the position of like a PR agent, a publicist. You may just be the voice for someone. I worked once for someone who would have me draft up their emails for someone else. So it was kind of like, even though I was just a like a middle manager, low level, kind of in the sort of hierarchy of things, that would be sent to someone really high up. And so that was an honor. But so you might be the one that kind of has a way to communicate way beyond your rank. And you do. And I still think that your rank is going to eventually catch up with you. You're gonna get that King of Swords mantle. But you're somewhere between the Knight and the Page right now. So your blessing is keep doing what you're doing, keep saying what you're saying, but I do want you eventually to get some credit for the work that you're putting out there. So make sure that someone isn't kind of like riding on your coattails. So the blessing is your communication skills this month are astounding, but make sure that somebody doesn't use your words, your actions, or your products or services without proper credit, okay? Something about that doesn't sit right, but I do like that if you kind of navigate this correctly, you're set up for success, okay? Let's look at the block. It's distraction. So we have the Seven of Cups, different illustration for it here. Again, Seven of Cups can be very powerful because without it, we wouldn't be able to explore opportunities. However, sometimes we get lost in the minutia. We're like, oh my gosh, okay, I got to do this, I've got to do this. This can be you staying up in the middle of the night, thinking about all the things that have to be done. This can be you anticipating all the problems that might happen if something doesn't work. It can just be you thinking about what's on TV tonight when you should be working. So your block this month is distraction, overanalysis. Again, overanalysis can lead to paralysis, and also just sometimes soliciting too many points of view can actually be a paralyzing thing for you as well. So take a little bit of feedback, work with it, move on. Again, if you're an artist like a writer, or if you're a painter or designer, you do something for hire, sometimes I'm sure you can really understand this because your client wants the kitchen sink. You know that you can't use Comic Sans as the corporate font, but you're going to have to try to walk them off the ledge. So limiting choices is really key, which is usually why 2 or 3 choices will be presented when you're going to do that. And you'll have to say, we can't do that, but we can do this. I get that you want whimsy or whimsical value. Why don't we do it here instead? So that's going to be the challenge, is helping someone frame it up and giving them the illusion sometimes of some choices, but really steering them in the right direction, and then doing the same for yourself. Don't go into all the different possibilities. You're going to just get lost. Really focus on 1 or 2 or 3 things where you can make a difference, get rid of the rest, and that's where your power sits. Okay, so now we're going to move along to viewer's choice and reader's choice. So I'm going to just slide the cards up here a bit, and I'm going to put a couple things out here for you to vote on, since we didn't get to vote on the cards today. And as we do this, then I will think of something for the viewer's or for the reader's choice. So give me 1 second here. I'll let you see what I'm doing on the desk while we're doing it. All right, so, okay, let's get this set up. So if you're, by the way, this only works if you're on desktop or on a mobile device. So viewer's choice poll. The things that I'm curious about as I look at all of this in front of me, one of them is just being discerning, because we have the 2 sort of very interesting opportunities. So I'm going to say being discerning / making a decision. Okay, so that's the first question that I have. And that kind of helps you with the 7 of Cups too, because sometimes there's this question of like, what do I do to make this decision? The other thing that calls to me here is happiness, emotional sort of satisfaction and happiness. So finding happiness, emotional balance. Okay. And for the final option, I want to focus on just the communication skills here that we were talking about. Communication, shining. I'm going to say shining in communication. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and send that out for all of you to vote on. And while you're voting on that, I'm going to do a reader's choice. And for the reader's choice, let me take a look at what's coming through. I actually want to focus on the third party. That's a pretty popular thing whenever I throw it out there. So how can you navigate around third party energy that's maybe getting in the mix of things? What can you do to make sure that you don't get distracted or lose track of what's going on? All right, so for third party energy, let's take a quick gander and see what's coming through. How can you navigate someone getting in the middle of things? All right, this is really interesting. So we have the Star card. She's reversed, but it doesn't matter because it's one of the most auspicious cards I could pull. So with the Star, it is your moment to shine. And I feel like someone might have a difficult time sharing the spotlight with you, particularly since we saw the 2 different kings that showed up here, right? So we have 2 people of equal stature, and then we have the Star card coming in saying, hey, this is my moment. I've worked for this opportunity. So make sure that, as I said earlier, someone doesn't steal thunder or try to get in the way of you stepping into that next opportunity. Sometimes it can just even be a comment. You know, we talked about the 3 of Swords card here. This could be a comment someone makes to get into your headspace, where it's sort of like, oh, are you sure you're ready for that? Do you think you can handle the pressure? Are you sure that you're young enough, old enough, experienced enough, pretty enough, whatever enough? And you know that what they're doing, but it still sort of sits there like a little echo in your head. So you're not going to let that happen. I really feel like there's this breakout moment, and the other person may just be working from a place of fear or jealousy or uncertainty. They're projecting their own fear, and you're going to take a deep breath and just blow that fear out to smithereens, out to shore. You don't have time for that, okay? Ultimately, be yourself, be authentic, and don't relent if someone else is trying to push you to do something you don't want to do, okay? Good. All right, let's take a look and see which of the options you are currently sort of voting. We have a tie today. All right, so I'm going to end the poll, but it's within 1% of one another, so it's going to be the first 2 choices. So I'll shuffle for a moment, and we'll just wait for the polls to come in, and then I'll read the first one and then the second one. When it's 1% of, yeah, it's pretty close. It ended up being discerning, making a decision won by a couple percents, but when I was looking at it, it was, you know, nose to nose. So I'll look at both being discerning and finding happiness. So first thing, how can you pick between the kind of option on the desk here, which is 2 really good options here, 2 aces. What can we do about the aces? So let's take a look and see what Spirit's telling you for being discerning, being picky. 7 of Wands, I like this. All right, so this particular card is encouraging you to, you can push back. You don't have to do everything. So one of the things here, if you have a lot that's going on, or if you have, okay, a couple things. If it's just an opportunity that's being presented to you, this is saying you don't want to be pressured into it. So I mentioned earlier that it's going to be really important for you to feel something, to feel like I'm connected to this. This makes me happy. I want to do this. So if it doesn't, then it ends up being sort of pushy energy where someone's trying to force you to do something. So if they're trying to force you, this is a clear sign from the universe that you're going to say not now or not yet, or why so urgent. The other thing with this one is you can push back for more information, more time, or more money, whatever it is. So you have the ability to push, you have the encouragement not to be pushed. And then the other thing here is to bring in an additional point of view, brings you into that success energy. Taking one thing away or adding one thing actually always brings success to the Seven of Wands. I just feel like there's too much. With the Seven of Wands, typically you're working hard, but not as smart as you could. So work more intelligently and less sort of labor intensively. So hopefully that helps you with that, because when we're trying to make a decision, it would be about how can I work smarter? How can I push back? How can I delegate? How can I get some more time, energy, information, etc. You can be pushy and you shouldn't be pushed around, and you can delegate and you can lead. Leadership is one sort of constant thread that I've been seeing for you as well. All right, so let's move on to question number 2 that you voted for, which is finding happiness, finding the emotional balance, since many of your Cups cards were reversed. Queen of Cups. All right, we got her upright, which is good. All right, so the main thing here is you always have the capacity and the ability to kind of rise above. I look at this Queen of Cups and she's kind of sinking in this sort of energy here. So I would say for you, the key thing here to find happiness, to find the balance, is to decide I'm going to take the higher road. I'm going to rise above. I'm going to rise up. Also, to make sure that if there is something that's bringing you down, that you do something about it. I'm just looking at the way I phrased the question. Finding emotional balance. So one of the things here with finding emotional balance here is you do not have to take everything on. Many of you just may be very good at being a mama or papa bear, where you're just sort of like making others feel better or pulling it all together. So in this moment, you can just say, I need help, or this doesn't work, or I want more or less of this. So stating intentions so that other people don't have to, as I said before, throw out some runes on the table and try and figure out what's going on. So speak your mind and push back, and don't try to do everything for everyone. These two are really closely connected, because this is being pushed into something, and this is feeling that sort of weight of being pushed into something, okay? So the cool thing with this one is basically you're getting the option, oops, I think I banned the wrong person there. You're basically at a point where, sorry about that, Isha. I was trying to ban a spammer there, so hopefully you're welcomed back there. I get so tired of those. By the way, never click on anything where it's like something. So apologies to the person that I accidentally banned there. I was just trying to get rid of it. So thank you for that. Okay, so what I was saying here with the Queen of Cups, choosing happiness, being creative, finding a path where you really are feeling that mind, body, and spirit, that's going to be so important, okay? So there we go. That is everything in a nutshell. We're going to now move on to the final portion of today's reading. Let me just talk about where we've been and where we're headed. So where we are headed, yeah, so sorry, Isha. It was the name that I can't pronounce that was putting spam out there. I'll just let Maria help from now on. Okay, so monthly reading here. What we're currently kind of navigating towards is the meditation, sound bath, and final card. The final card portion of this is going to be my gift to you. So if there's one last question that you have for me, this is your chance to meditate on it and receive it, okay? All right, so let's get set up here. A couple of quick things before we navigate into that. If you enjoy what you see here and you'd like some reminders, you can follow me on social media. All of my links are here, and I also pinned a comment up above, and I know Maria has put some links out there. Subscribing costs nothing. Opting into the bell and liking this costs nothing, but it does help you figure out when I'm live, and it also helps the channel grow. If you're watching this on replay, show some love in the comments below. This also is just a way to kind of like let YouTube know that this is a cool video. If you want to give back in any way, you can do that. You see a lot of folks here with green text and special emojis. Those folks have been longtime supporters, including the one that I accidentally banned for a second. Apologies there. So thank you so much to all of you that have done that. You help me continue to buy new decks. Some of them I love, some of them I don't use as much. This was kind of a fun deck, but I don't like it as much as the ones that I've kind of had in rotation. If you have some suggestions for me, take a visit on my community channel and post a link there on the question that I have. I think it's like the third post down because I'm always looking for new tarot decks and I'll be considering some of your recommendations. And my schedule on my website is right here. So if you want to know what I'm doing next, you can see it. Now let's get ready for the meditation. 2 parts, like I said, we're going to start off with a quick meditation, then a final card at the end to answer whatever question you might have. All right. So for today, as I'm looking at everything, it really is about, especially as I'm looking at some of these, I feel like it's finding your power, being able to feel like you can really sit in your power and either attract or push things away. So we'll work with that in the meditation. I'm going to put a quick goal up here, a quick poll rather, for you to vote on which instrument you'd like me to use, and then we're going to navigate into that. So as always, you can choose between a singing bowl and a crystal pyramid. I'll go ahead and put that out there. Either one is fine. If you don't know, don't worry. I will choose whichever one has the most votes there. All right, so for today's meditation, I'd like you just to close your eyes for a second. And let's imagine something in, we saw so many cards with the water. I'd actually like to work with the element of water. So see yourself perhaps right at the edge of the beach here where your foot is just touching the water, one on, kind of like Temperance card, one on the sand, one touching in the water itself. And I want you to imagine that you have this capability to really bring in both of those elements in your life: water, passion, creativity, love, and then putting your foot in the sand on the land, the ability to ground your passion and your ideas into something tangible. As you kind of reach out and touch the water, I want you to see this beautiful blue energy wrapping around your body. Blue, of course, the color of the throat chakra, allowing you to be in your power when it comes to communication. And then the beautiful sort of sandy color of the beach, golden color, which is actually not going to just connect you to the lower chakras, but also to your solar plexus. So we're really giving the heart and the solar plexus the space and the time that they deserve to shine right now. And also I would say the throat. We're going to pull these 3 together. So blue, green, and the sort of sandy color, because when you look into the water, it's aquamarine, right? So we've got the blue of the ocean, the kind of aquamarine where there's maybe like seaweed and other things, so that green color of the heart, and then the solar plexus. So your power to speak, your power to be happy, and then your power. Let's imagine that those 3 are going to kind of push upward and downward to balance out the other ones, but those are the colors in your auric field right now that are going to shine the brightest. And if there's one for you where you want to focus on it a little bit more, your voice, your passion, or your power, you can imagine that that's where the energy is going to grow brighter. So you can stay connected to these 2 different elements and just breathe. And imagine now that you could conjure up here on the beach something in your life that you want to see, whether it's love or power or acceptance, or maybe you're going to call open a portal that you're going to walk through. Just imagine that you're going to access these two elements, water and earth, to create. And as you are focusing on whatever it is that you're going to create in your life, it could even just be a sandcastle, I don't care, but build something in the sand that you're going to then imagine being real later on. So you're kind of like the creator here, making something of clay that's going to come to life. So imagine that this is true magic and true alchemy as you meditate. And then we're going to go ahead and play the crystal pyramid right now. This will take about 1 minute while we're meditating, and then we'll come back and I'll look at your final card. So just relax and breathe and enjoy as I grab the crystal pyramid. And Apollo will make a little appearance at the end too, so stick around. Take a deep breath. Imagine that you could touch whatever your creation is and see it begin to manifest in front of your very eyes. Allowing that image to be burned into your memory like an old-fashioned Polaroid, or stamped into your auric field. So as you move forward, as you kind of like explore, you can hold that picture and that vision and know that it's going to be coming into fruition. Take a moment now and come back into your body, keeping the energy of the earth and the water with you in the month ahead, focusing on the final question that you have for me. And then we'll pull Apollo up for a little cameo at the end. All right, so let's see what's coming through. Interesting. All right, so let's show you this close up here. We have the Eight of Swords. I feel like this has been popping up so often lately in the readings, but the Eight of Swords is permission for you to move into something that's a little bit more freeing for you. As a yes, no, this tells me you need more information, or you're missing something important, something not necessarily obvious, but you need some more information for sure. I would say it's pretty much a no with the Eight of Swords, but the reason it could be a no is that you either don't believe or see the potential, or someone else doesn't know or believe the potential. It also means that you may not have done enough research, that there might be something else out there. So there's more than meets the eye with the Eight of Swords. And also, I want you to have the feeling that you are free, you are autonomous, that you are able to kind of like control your own program, since that was something that I saw in my dreams for you that could be a challenging sort of aspect. So you're the one that should be calling the shots, and yeah, you deserve to be able to really be seen, appreciated, and celebrated for who you are. So I feel like there's something better on the horizon for you, and that you need a little bit more time, a little bit more consideration, a little bit more information before perhaps doing this. Also, if you're just asking about health or something else, this one is usually saying it's probably not that. This isn't a clear indicator card. So it tells me you might be focusing in the wrong area. So I would redirect your focus and I would get a little bit more information. And then also realize that you have more power. The Eight of Swords to me is always, all you have to do is kind of like step in one direction. A traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, we see the swords arranged almost like gel, like a prison sort of around her, but there's always an opening. So all she has to do is kind of like wiggle out of the restraints, or kind of move the blindfold off and move in that direction. So there's been some situations that sometimes put you in this position of feeling like you're kind of up against the wall, but the wall may be paper thin, or these might be like paper swords, and it's not as bad as you think. So I feel like you can push through, and you'll be surprised at what's offered to you. And the card just flew off the table again, saying, yes, we agree. So yes, I see better things. I'm gonna clarify it too, because it's kind of an interesting card, and then we'll wrap up. So one clarification card, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, with this one, the Knight of Wands coming through here. So I think you can think of something, you can definitely think of something better, and you can probably find a way out of this. All of the Wands cards, particularly the Queen, but they all have the same potential to outthink or outfox the fox. This is another example of that. But the Knight card tells me the minute you start moving, you start to feel better. When you move on from something or push through something, you'll be okay. You may also not get the confirmation or validation that you need. Just because it isn't there doesn't mean that it's not deserved. Okay? So interesting card, interesting question that some of you were asking, but you're going to be A-okay. So a couple of quick notes, and then I'll pull Apollo and we'll go through the final stuff here. As always, like I said, it would be great to, if you like what you see here, also share it on social media. There's an option when this goes to replay to click the share icon. When you share it from YouTube, that actually helps with metrics as well, so you can tweet it or whatever you want to do. That's great. So please feel free to do that. If you want to follow me on social media and share it from there, that's great. Spread the word. That's how that's how I've been able to continue doing what I'm doing. I do longer form videos, and for some people, they get kind of nervous when they see it. So hopefully you can tell other people that it's worth it, and I timestamp it, and yeah, share the word. One thing that I am interested in, I'd love for you to put in the comments, I'm going to ask everybody this month as we go through it, is there anything you would like me to add, change, or shake up with the monthly videos? I've noticed a change in participation, much more towards the weekend, much less towards the monthlies. And I was even wondering if maybe we should look at a different way of doing monthlies, or should everything be in all hands, or sort of like a collective sort of style where maybe I just look at elementals. So I'm very curious because I've noticed less participation in the monthlies. So let me know if there's anything you'd like me to change up. I do pay attention to the comments, and you can put it below. If you want to show some support, you can do it here. Thanks to all of my longtime members for your support. And we're going to say thanks. I'm going to go through the thanks first, and then I'll pull up Sleeping Beauty behind me. All right, so first things first, I'd like to say thanks to anybody that just joined. I noticed that we had a new member right before I started, and I think you participated today as well. So Jimmy, yeah, I think it was you. So thank you so much, Jimmy, for becoming a new member. Jimmy Fastbinder, much appreciation, brand new, good to have you here. And I think everybody else I welcomed yesterday because I remember the names. So I will pause on that. I think you were the only new one from today. So thank you so much and welcome to this cool community. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the supers. If anyone gave a sticker, I will kind of acknowledge that as well. So let's see, we got a few today. Thank you to Maria R for kicking things off. I appreciate you. Let's see who else gave back. AB, Debbie McGinnis, Sarita Forsland, I think it is. Catalina Villanueva, and Soul to Soul. Thanks to all of you for showing up and showing some support. Thanks to all of my longtime channel, also like members here that joined, because that's a way to give back every month. So I see and appreciate you. I'm looking at my monitor here and I see we have a bunch, from Andre to Tahoe to Isha, and to all the folks that I didn't have a chance to say welcome to and thank you to. I'm just looking there and I can see it. So much love and light. Let's pull Apollo up before we wrap up today and do a little cameo with this cute guy. All right, so Apollo, you want to say hi to everybody? Sleeping Beauty? Yes, we'll go for a walk afterwards. All right, so thank you so much, everybody who joined. A reminder of my schedule if you don't know. I'm live every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I also do occasional impromptu readings where I will read special topics. So I'll probably do a poll on that, seeing like what the next special topic is that you'd all like to see. This little guy is ready for his walk and for some food, and I'm ready for the same as well. So lots of love and light. Thank you again to Maria for your assistance today. And I hope all of you have a fantastic week and month ahead. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you later this week. Remember that if you haven't already checked out all of your February readings, of course, all of those are live too. And as always, you can check out Sun, Rising Moon, and Venus just to get a full view of what's going on for you. All right, everybody, take care, and I'll talk to you real soon. All right, bye-bye.